Good evening, everyone. It is August 10th, 2023, and we are done with our CPI session. Now, coming into today, what I was looking for was right here. This was the midweek update and my plan for today, which was if we got over 45.05, I was looking for 35 to trade, and that is what happened overnight. We managed to get above that '05 number once the Europe opened, and we did get into that 35-ish spot eventually. Now, I wasn't too sure where the short would be. I knew it was somewhere between 35 to 55-ish. Otherwise, we were going to get this scenario over here where we start lingering around 50 and we start getting a move up into this old balance. We did not get that. Sellers rejected us at a new high of the week, a new external trading hours high of the week over here relative to this Monday night trade. And we fell back below that 45.25 number, the prior month's halfback, and we firmly sold off to new lows. I think it's important to note that unlike the past couple times now that we've gotten into this 45, 85-ish balance, this is the first time that it was not some crazy aggressive liquidation into the close, and instead it was a steady sell-off. The past couple times it's been this very aggressive liquidation, which leads to short covering, and then it's hard to reload and get lower. But this time it was a much steadier sell off, so that is something to note. On the NQ, similar story here. We got down to, maybe I'll go ahead and toss these over here. There we go. On the NQ, similar idea. We were unable to reclaim this area here at the 330s. We lost it, and from there on, we were just in this sort of crap out scenario. Getting down to a new low of the week, down at 139s, that level over there, and once again back towards kind of 260ish, kind of the middle of this zone here. There you go, right about at the middle. So overall, to me, heading into tomorrow, what I'm going to be looking for is I want to see shorts start to apply the pressure, break our lower balances, break this 44.80 to 75. What is it? 73 to 98. I want to see the 73 spot break. I want to see us break this balance. I want to see us get into this projected low of the week. I want to see that 100-point range hit. What would that be? Right around 44, something like that. Let's call it 44, 45, somewhere around there. I want to see that get tagged tomorrow. So, to me, shorts need to keep this below, 44, 98 to 05-ish. That being the first half of the year's high, you can see it over here, up to about the first half of the year's point of control from a ways back at O2s. I think if you start to cross over there, you can see that's where we had this low come in at 05s. If you cross over this sort of area, maybe it's easier to see like this. If you cross over this sort of area, I think you're back to getting into the weekly open at 18, the settlement highs around 22s, that monthly half back at 25s. I think you start fighting the wave overall once again. So that's how I'm looking at this thing. Let's get into actual trades for tomorrow. You can see here I took a long here, took a -1R, took a long here for a +1R. This was a paper trade. Should have taken it in real life, I suppose. Alrighty, how am I looking to trade this thing? Let's get started. I'm mostly interested in the short side, like I just mentioned. O2s, 98s, those are going to be the key spots to me. Below there, also, if we do get acceptance below today and yesterday's RTH lows, I'm interested in getting short somewhere around 88, 86, or 85s. Below there, the first spot I'd be looking to get long is around 66s after a tag of that 62 point of control from way back in whenever it was. July something, July, I don't know, 20 July 11th, something like that. That point of control around 62 is that breakout point of control. Below there, getting long 58s after a tag of 56s. Below there, getting long 46s after a tag of 38s. Below there, getting long at 38s themselves, and then 32s. Below there, the final spot I'd be interested in is 24s after a tag of 19, so getting below that July low of the month. But really, I think this is going to be the probable area that we find a low of the week. These are perhaps a tad ambitious, but I'm mostly interested in this sort of zone. Above, and again, I think you start fighting the wave. Maybe you get some opportunities at the VWAP close from today at 07s, maybe at 10s. Again, I think you're fighting this, but maybe at 21. So after a tag of settlement highs, getting short at the weekly open or settlement highs themselves. And this is when I really think you're stretching for. Above 26s, and I think you are heavily fighting the wave. You have one auction point of control from today at 40s, and then maybe the actual balance point sort of area that I've been interested in since pretty much the start of the month, which is around 44 to 45. Above, and I think you start flirting with the gap close that I've mentioned before. On the Nasdaq, let's go over here. On the Nasdaq, less ambitious on the bid, more aggressive on the offers. Today, 368s was kind of the over-under zone. I liked that spot for where we could possibly re-engage shorts. That is now settlement highs. Below there are the same old levels that I've been talking about, 350-ish, 342-ish, and 331s. Been a critical area for a number of weeks. Below there, 282s, I think, is kind of a weird spot. This is where we were catching bids in the morning and where we were offered. However, I think the real thing to do is to wait for a move to that 282s, to that being the VWAP close from today, let it tag it, then get short at 260s. 260s been an important spot on a 5-minute chart. You can see it over here. Below there, also potentially getting short 243s. That's where we were having some nice offers show up. Below there, if we do accept below the prior day's low and today's RTH low, I think these are awesome shorts. Essentially, settlement lows coming in at 146 and a half. Above there, 161s being the critical July 95% value area low. That's where I was saying it was a possible long today after a run of Wednesday's low. So that was a valid long. And above there, 177s today's 95% value area low. So essentially reclaiming that, and I think you would end up rotating back upwards to, I don't know, maybe 220 or somewhere around there. Maybe get your short setups. Below there, the long side. Long 91s after a tag of 63 quarters, that being the monthly low from July. Below there, and I think you are really flirting with danger. I don't think it's a great idea to be too long. Maybe 65s after being in the same spot, and below there, I don't think it's a great idea to be long. I think you're trading below the -3 standard deviation of last week's VWAP at 61s. You're trading below that monthly low at 63 quarters. You're trading below all sorts of higher time frame stuff that's been keeping the market bid. I do think you end up finding a low of the week somewhere around here. That's what I had written out in my weekly plan, but I think you have no moves below 15K this week. Same thing on the ES. I think no moves. Oh, I don't know where that writing went, but I think no moves below about 44.19 this week. There you go, right over here. That's where I'd written it out. So overall, oh God, almost 10 minutes once again. Overall, I'm looking for a scenario where sellers take control finally. We're able to get below this balance that I've been talking about. We're able to get below this stupid thing, break this trend line, and get into sort of this sort of demand zone to hold us for the end of the week. Moving forward, perhaps for all of next week, I think we would end up having
this as our resistance, kind of 65 to 98. Maybe I'd tighten that up a bit to 75 to 05-ish, something like that, will be our primary resistance. And I think we'll spend the week trading around something like this for next week. 43.83 to 4,500-ish. Anyway, hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. Definitely changes to this pre-market. We do have PPI, I believe, at 8:30. I think that's all the data that we have. Where is it? Oh, and University of Michigan. That's probably the consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. So small edits to be made pre-market. But other than that, looking for a overall sell session. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. Have a great night. Trade safe.